60s.
Yeah. Approaching 70. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to get a little warmer.
So the hot button issue, I guess, is the slant passes, and I'm sure, how do you counter that?
Well, let's talk about that for a second, okay? They were 3 for 5 in the first half for 23 yards. They were 2 for 4 in the second half for 22. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it. Schematically, I thought one thing, I think Thorson's really good. He's going to end up graduating. I will bet he's one of the top 25 throwers, probably in the history of the Big Ten. So and when there's 2 of his catches where the guy's catching the ball like this, we're like this, and he puts it in a window about this big. So, I'm not gonna, stand here and say, geez, we did a great job, but they completed 3 of 5 for 23 yards in the first half, 2 of 4 for 22 yards in the second half. And in the second half, we kind of tweaked it a little bit and, delivered a couple of shots there to the slant. So, it is what it is. But now let's understand something, okay? We're not giving up Haas verticals to the number 2 guy, okay? So, that's priority number 1, okay? It's like some quarters teams that'll play off and give you this. Well, we're not going to do that. So, everything has a strength and everything has a weakness. So, you just got to try to do the best you can to kind of play the cat and mouse game to cover them up the best you can. I guess that's the scenario that I'd probably go into. So they were 5 and 9 for 44 yards in the slant game. And let's see, they had 202 for the day, which, I'll call that at any time. Anything else?
That wasn't my criticism, but
No.
I just want to make sure you don't.
I didn't, I'm
Yeah.
just, a little touchy about
I
that
get
stuff.
it. I get it.
But obviously, guys are working at it. The one thing that kind of gets lost, with the expectations and some of the things that are kind of important, is it is what it is. You end up in a football game and you're in a dogfight and you wake up and you're down 17-0 on the road. Okay, so you can look at that and say, all right, that's not a good thing, and it's not. Okay, it's a tough road to hoe. To watch our guys fight their way out of that and to record the second biggest turnaround in Michigan history on the road, we're missing the boat here. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Everything's always tilted that way. What about the second biggest turnaround on the road? It's pretty good, right? Am I right or am I delusional? So, just to watch our guys compete, and we're not perfect, and we're not. I mean, obviously, the penalty issue, I stand up there every week and we talk about it and we address it and we're going through it, and sometimes you just got to shut up and play. And so that's my new tact. I'm not even going to talk about it. But, that's got to go away. That right there, if you want to be critical, that's the piece to be critical on, and that's the piece to be critical of me, okay? Got to do a better job, technique and fundamentals, and we will. But, we were called for 3, defensive holding, a PI in the end zone, and the one on Rashawn where he hits the guy. Do you mind?
Oh my, you got it.
Right there. He hit him right there. Okay? So, those are the 3. Unfortunately for us, 2 of them are in the scoring drive deal. you know, so. That's gotta go away, you know, I mean, you go 9 drives in a row, there isn't a penalty to be had, you know, from that point forward, and that's, you know, that's a tough deal. You know, I thought second half-wise, we did a good job of balance and pressure and coverage. I thought Josh Uche finally made his presence felt as a pass rusher. And obviously, you know, Chase is Chase. I mean, he's playing at a really high level right now. I mean, that's very obvious, right? And Kwity Paye, you know, certainly has stood up when we needed him to stand up, along with the other guys. I think our secondary, you know, obviously second half, you know, played about as well as they could play. And, you know, it was kind of one of those games, you know, so.
Will you have Rashawn Saturday?
It's day to day, so we'll see. Not really sure right now, so we just, you know, let Dave and the trainers, you know, we'll see if they can put them back together for the weekend.
It's kind of a loaded question. I don't know if you've seen the chart of holding calls against your defensive lines, and I see what Chase really expressed his frustration.
Well, you know the difficult thing there? You know what's shocking to me? Okay? We've played 2 Big Ten games. Okay? We have 10 sacks and 24 TFLs, but we don't get held. Take a look and compare that with the other teams in our league. Okay? So that one's a little tough. You know, obviously, you know, we go back and forth and study the films very hard on Sunday. So it is what it is, you know, I mean, but it's not like for 3 years that we've been here that we don't have sacks and we don't have TFLs. In fact, that's a measuring stick for us, as you know. So when you play 2 Big Ten games and you have 10 sacks and 24 TFLs, that's a lot. So you're upfield doing things, and you know, not sure of the numbers.
What do you tell your guys? Just, I think Jim said, just keep doing you, doing what you do, and
Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is I've never had to transition in versus of, you know, involved with officiating. This is the first year, like, I feel like I'm transitioning due to how things are officiated. I don't recall that ever in my coaching career that happening, but now I feel it happening, you know, so kind of a tough deal, but, you know, get it done. Make the transitions. But in the meantime, I think there's some, obviously, there's a lot of positive to take away from Saturday. I think there's some, when we're looking at some comparisons of how we're defending people versus other people that we're playing the same opponents, you know, I think we're kind of where we want to be. But, you know, if you said to me, hey, give yourself a report card, you know, we got to do a better job in the penalty area. I never apologize for my guys' effort. That's the one thing I'm probably most proud of. I got, you know, everybody that talks about us on Monday and Tuesday say, man, those dudes play hard. So what else can you ask? So, you know, I think there's a lot to feel good about, you know, where we're sitting. You know, obviously, would love to have the, you know, the Notre Dame first half back, but it is what it is, you know. I mean, when you look back over a college football season, you know, you talk about games. Well, I don't even think it's more. Sometimes it's more about, like, what about the first quarter? You know, so if you look at the first quarter of Notre Dame and the first quarter of Northwestern, and maybe the third quarter of SMU. you know, those are the three, it's not about games, it's about quarters. And, you know, that's how precious, you know, playing at a high level is. I mean, you know, so that's kind of where I'm, you know, stuck right now, is trying to, you know, it's little phases of the game. Now, I'm also going to tell you this. A year ago, if the wheels came off, the wheels were off. This group has the ability, wheels off, wheels back on. So I think that's a little bit of a sign of the maturity of this group and the quality and the character that our guys have. And there's no doubt about that.
Is Chase, pardon me, has Chase taken it up another notch?
Yeah, I think he has. He's playing way more physical in the run game. He's active, more active in the run game than he's been. So I feel him more like when people are running the football. You know, his TFLs, you know, it's not just the chasing of the quarterback, it's the impact that he has in opponent's backfield. And, you know, I mean, that's a value deal when you can get him off kilter now. And, you know, I don't know what their rushing numbers were in terms of prior, but I know it netted 29, but, you know, nets 29 because, you know, of the sacks and the TFLs just knocking them back. And that's what you know, that's part of the equation that that we're so deeply immersed in. That's important to us at the end of the day is, you know, put them in bad situations and get yourself off the field. And, you know, again, I really got to give credit to Northwestern. I thought they did a good job. And, you know, they came out, they threw the ball quick. We talked about the slant patterns. He was very accurate. You know, the longest pass play from scrimmage Saturday was 36 yards. You know where it was caught? On the line of scrimmage. You know, so we don't tackle well, and it's not one guy, it's like 5 guys. And the thing ends up in, you know, down on the one and ends up in the end zone. Okay? You know, so, you know, here we are, you know, all like harp on is, you know, don't give up the big plays and this and that, and the ball caught on the line of scrimmage ends up being a big play. You know, that's football. So, you know, it's not how far he was throwing it. He just kind of kept things alive and you know, and then we had the penalty in the end zone, and it is what it is. So you know, now you're 17-0, and you got to dig your way out, and you know, thank God we were able to do that. And you know, just at halftime, you just knew if we gave up 1 point, it was going to be over. So you know, it was nice to see our guys, you know, just put the hard hats on. And the other thing that kind of goes quietly there is they got the ball at the end now. And he's going to go back and he's going to throw it in the end zone. Okay? Now, he wasn't in great shape. But to end the game with the sack by Uche and not give him a chance, because you don't know. Ball gets hit. Boom, you're back there, you're boxing out, you're doing all this, you teach all those great little things, you put the 3 guys, we've all seen it. So it's a nice feature when it goes right around the tackle and boom, and ends it like that. You know, that's kind of what you're looking for. And I thought that was a litmus test too, because, you know, you got to get off the field. You know, it's in your lap, and I thought our guys handled it with poise. And you know, the only thing that I did a poor job of is that, you know, I was coaching it on Sunday. Don't get up so quick. Don't rush up. You know, we tackled them on the field of play twice. You know, take your time. But, you know, I thought that was a good litmus test for us. And, you know, every experience you go through positively, that you can build on, that's really what you're looking to do, is try to get your guys to build on the positive, so that they later on in the season can go to recall and say, hey, we've been here before. We know how to handle this situation. And you know, so you know, really, I thought a lot of value in that victory. A lot of value. A lot of positive things can be had. And, you know, Shea Patterson did a heck of a job getting us down the field there a couple times. So life is good.
With that in mind, did you go back after the Notre Dame game and sort of erase that first quarter, and when you were going back and coaching that?
You don't erase anything, you know. I mean, everything kind of, unfortunately, you know, it's like 2 mornings ago, you know, you wake up and you go, oh, geez, played so poorly in that first quarter. Why? You know, and you're trying to put a hand on it and put a finger on it. And I really don't have an answer, you know. Again, you try to just move on, and what changes can we make? And we're talking about it all the time, like what can our pre-game approach be differently that could help us, you know, come out of the tunnel ready to go. You know, I mean, there's something there, obviously, so we got to remedy it, and we're working on it, so.
Don, we've
Got
been
time for one question? We just gotta get up the
line.
meeting.
We've had this conversation with you before, where you guys are number 1 in total defense again, the top 3 in pass defense, like top something in all the countable stats. Yet, anytime somebody puts a pass against you guys, just scores a touchdown, it's like
Yeah,
we're shocked. I mean, is that like, do you look at that as some sort of like a compliment, or is it frustrating, or is it just you don't care?
Well, no, I mean, you know, here's what I care about. Be critical of the old guy. Don't be critical of the players now. I mean, that's crossing the line now, in my opinion. And I don't know, I guess that would be a topic we could stand here and argue, but, you know, all they do is do what they're asked. What a beautiful statement that I just made. Do you realize how little gross error we have? It's really a testament to the guys I coach, that they're trying their tail off to do whatever, you know, we tell them to do. You know, we've played 5 games. I don't make the schedule. I'm just asked to compete in the schedule. And compare how we've done against the opponent's offense and how other people have done. Take a look at that one, okay? And just kind of see, you know, how we, but we're number 1 in this and that. You know something? I'm going to be honest with you. I've been part of that for 4 years in a row, around that at some point in time. You know what matters? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It matters at the end when you can sit down and you go, all right, what do you got to fix? Well, we got to take care of these vertical routes. We got to do this. We got to do. It's the measuring stick that helps you try to keep. You know, you're trying to squeeze it out all the time, okay? And now it's like, how do we stay aggressive? Because the day they say, hey, you know, you know what I'm going to say? I'm good. Have a nice day. You know, and I think if you said that to the players, I think they'd have my back on that one, you know. But to do that, it's, you know, there's a lot of time invested, there's a lot of scheme, you know, there's a lot of repetitions, and you're just trying to squeeze out as much as you can. And if you do that, you know, it gives you a better chance to win the football game. And that's really all we're searching for, is to try to find a way to, you know, win the football game at the end of the day and move on to the next week. You know, and sometimes it's a relief and sometimes it's a joy, you know. I'm just saying, you know, I think it was Dave that said it to me. Second biggest comeback on the road in Michigan history. You know, and I kind of like all that stuff. And so that's a tribute to the guys. Because a lot of groups at that point in time, I'm good. Let's go home. Some guys, not so good, you know, and they're going to continue to fight. And I just think it's a testament to our head football coach and the program that he's developed here. That's just me. Okay?
Thanks, Coach.
All right.